Hi, I'm Audra Losi. I'm a registered dietitian nutritionist with Nebraska Extension in the Nutrition Education Program. And this is Marla, my 3-year-old daughter, and she's here today to talk about cooking with kids. We're going to do a recipe today for zotes, which is an oatmeal recipe that includes zucchini in it. So we're going to try that today. And I just want to also emphasize that when you're cooking with children, that it's important to remember that yes, it does sometimes take more time. Sometimes they make a little bit bigger of a mess, right? But it's a lot of fun and we learn a lot of skills when we're cooking in the kitchen. And so I just really encourage you to just remember your patience and remember to take the time to involve your children in the kitchen and get them cooking to learn some skills early on in life. And we also find that when we're cooking with kids, that they're more likely to try the foods that they're involved in. So we're going to start off first with our recipe, and we're going to shred our zucchini and get it ready to go in with the oatmeal. So we're just going to kind of trim off the end of the zucchini and then we'll shred that. And Marla's going to help me do some of the toppings for the oatmeal. So we're going to shred up our zucchini, just one small zucchini, and as we do that, it'll be nice and finely grated for us to put into our oatmeal. You see it getting smaller in there? Okay. Put that aside. All right, Marla, I'm going to have you put the zucchini into our big bowl that we're going to microwave our oatmeal. So here's our big bowl. And here's your spatula. Can you help me scrape that in there? Make sure you get it all out. Good work, sister. All right. So next we're going to measure the oatmeal. And for this, you can use the quick oats, you can use rolled oats, whatever your preference is with that. If you were to use a steel cut oats, that would take longer. So you would want to make sure that you adjusted your recipe accordingly. So this recipe calls for 1 cup of rolled oats or quick oats, and we're using quick oats today. So we're just going to use a 1 cup dry measure. And a lot of times with Marla's age, I will scoop it and then she gets to pour it into the bowl, right? Just dump that in there. All right, nice work, Marla. And then we need to add 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla. So will you help pour this in the bowl for me, Marla? Okay, so Marla, when she does this, she's using all of her developing fine motor skills that she might not use otherwise. And so these are opportunities for her to learn to do things like mixing and scooping and pouring. So we're also going to add in 1.5 cups of water, up to 2 cups depending on how you like your oatmeal to be. So we're going to pour that in. You can also use milk. I like to do that as well, so it gives a little bit more of a nutritional boost for your breakfast. So we want to go ahead and stir that together, Marla. Use your spoon and stir that together. And then we're going to also do 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon. Can you pour that together? Dump, dump, dump. Can you tap it on the side? Get it in there. There you go. Thank you, Marla. And so when you're cooking with kids, it can be nice to have a little bit larger bowl than you actually need so that you have some room for error when they're stirring, so you don't have to worry about making too big of a mess. But it makes it easier. You can also talk about how it can be helpful to hold onto the handle. So I'm just going to turn this for you so you can hold on to the side and go keep stirring it together. Okay, do you think it's all ready to go? Okay, so there's a little bit of cinnamon that's not quite mixed in. And now we're just going to microwave this until it's ready to eat. So we'll microwave it for about 1 minute at a time and then stir it and keep checking it until it's ready. There's the microwave. We're going to use it. Okay, so I'm going to help you get down, Marla. put it inside. It's gonna do a minute. All right, so in the meantime, while our oats are cooking, we're gonna go ahead and chop up the banana, because this recipe is served with sliced bananas on top. Also get to add chocolate chips if you want, and peanut butter if you want to. So we're just gonna peel our banana, and Marla is going to just slice it up for us. And you can also use these dull knives like this that often are called lettuce knives, and those are fairly dull and easy for kids to work with. You can also use just a smaller disposable knife like this one. Soft fruits are great for young children to learn to cut with, things like bananas or even kiwi, strawberries, those work pretty well. I also like to do, if I'm doing vegetables, like we sometimes do cucumbers, those work pretty well. So just make sure you want to supervise them so that they are safe. Marla's done lots of cooking and cutting with me, so make sure you go all the way through, Marla, so they're nice and cut all the way to the bottom. Okay, can you make those a little bit smaller so we can put them in our oatmeal? So you can lay them down flat and cut them. There you go. So when you have a round object, it's nice if you just lay it flat on the cutting board, so it's safer for you and it's not rolling around. So this one you can put up on its flat part like that and cut it in half. Just keep those fingers out of the way. There you go. And just do the next one. So Marla is 3, so this is a task that is good for a 3-year-old. Also, older kids would be able to do this too, but keep in mind the developmental age of your own child and how they might be ready to do something like that. Also, some tasks that would be helpful in the kitchen for a 3-year-old would be things like tearing lettuce, getting that ready for a salad. They can help stir and scoop, all those things that we've been doing today. And then also, it's important to remember that all these activities that we're doing with cooking are ways to expose kids to foods. So we know that the more a child is exposed to foods in different ways, the more likely they are to try a variety of different types of foods. So cooking is one way to do that, where you are they're experiencing the food besides eating it. Also talking about stories or going to the grocery store together, planning your meals together are all ways that you can expose kids to foods over time. And so the more times that they see a food, hear about a food, talk about it, smell it, all of those things, or get to cook with it, the more likely they are to eat it. And so that's an important thing to keep in mind when you are cooking with kids. I think it's ready now. And stir it up and see. It might need a little bit longer. Is it hot? That's another thing when you're cooking with young children, just make sure that you're talking about the safety of cooking with hot foods, making sure that they're using the handles and not grabbing onto the bowl, because that's going to be hot. Okay, so we're going to go put it back in the microwave. Can you push that button for me? All the way in. So we'll do one more minute. And shut that door, and then can you push the number 1 for me? There you go. So it's also something to think about that kids can learn about counting, they can learn about colors. There's all kinds of math and science that you can learn about while you're cooking together. And it all has the benefit of them being able to use those skills in life. So one of the things we think about when we're preparing a meal for our family is how fast can we get it ready and on the table. And that's true. Some nights are definitely like that, where we're in a hurry. But it's also important to slow down and take the time to teach them these skills so that they can learn them as they get older and be able to use them as an adult. So you just want to push down on it. Push down and go through. There you go. We're going to get our bowl ready. And our oatmeal will go in. And we're also going to measure our peanut butter. Should we add peanut butter to the oatmeal today? Yeah. Okay. Why don't you use the towel there. Wipe your hands off. So you can add a tablespoon of peanut butter and a tablespoon of chocolate chips to the recipe. Okay, so you hold that while I get the hot oatmeal, okay? Are you trying it? That's something else we talk about is food safety, right? We talk about how we need to keep our hands clean. All right, so help me stir this, Marla. We're not ready for bananas quite yet. Can you help me stir it? Stir that peanut butter in and it will melt as we stir. hold the handle. Use those muscles to get it nice and stirred up. Can you smell the peanut butter? I can smell the cinnamon too. Is it thick? Now all these times that you're cooking or even eating meals together, it's nice to talk about the food qualities that you're seeing. That can be one way to encourage kids to eat too, because if you're talking about just whether they like a food or the taste of a food, kids can often kind of get stuck on whether they like it or not. But when you talk about, oh, good job covering your mouth. When you talk about what does it look like, what does it feel like, what does it smell like, you're involving all of their senses. And that can be another way to teach them about the food without that pressure to really try eating it and whether they like it or not. Okay, so got that peanut butter in there. We're gonna add it to our bowl and put some chocolate chips on top. You gonna put one in there? How about we garnish it on the top? Let's put some in here so you can eat it. You ready? Let's scoop. Here we go, we're gonna scoop in this bowl. It's like it'd be like your oatmeal bowl. And then, are you gonna put bananas on it this time? In chocolate chips, all right. So go ahead and put your slices of banana on top. And then you can use the spoon there. You can scoop your chocolate chips on top. There you go. The recipe calls for about a tablespoon of chocolate chips. And I think it's best probably just to garnish it on top a little bit when you're ready to serve it. All right, go ahead and stir it all together, Marla. You stir it together? So when you're thinking about your next meal, I encourage you to find ways to involve your children, find ways to give them a task. They can help set the table. They can help prepare things like this breakfast. They can be involved in the cleanup. I just encourage you to really give them some responsibility in the kitchen so that they learn those tasks and are involved in the mealtime. If you'd like to find this recipe, you can find it on food.unl.edu. That's it all done. Thanks for joining us today.